was handicapped somewhat. There was some bloke in a Ford Motorsport powered V8 tractor that just happens to be sitting here that sort of tended to take the show down at Terracotta.
Sorry about that. Yeah. The one coming around the inside that's dark blue is what we call a half track. So it's half tractor, half crawler. And it's a half track. So he's powered by a Perkins motor. And down the outside on the front straight we have a big orange case that's spent all its life in the Queenstown Basin, farming in Arrowtown. Contractor's tractor, done thousands and thousands of hours for that tractor. And you can see the style of some of these tractors with the wee cock shut 20 coming down the front straight.
Didn't you start off with one of these little cat crawlers back in the day?
Here's a little Oliver that's around here somewhere. The little green Oliver over there.
Oh, that was your one?
Yeah.
And that commenced a lifelong obsession for you, didn't it?
Seems to have done that, yes, indeed.
What about some of the smaller versions that we have over
Well, there's
here?
a wee Ransoms with a single furrow plough there, and that's Marco driving it. He turned up earlier in the week to volunteer as a tractor driver, and we said, "What's your name?" And he said, "I'm Marco."
Welcome.
And he's from Holland, and he spent the whole week starting tractors, so we thank Marco very much, and he's really enjoying himself.
What a great
So a couple
story.
of little Ransoms, a little blue one and a little yellow one. So the crawler's coming around the inside. The big 50-20 John Deere, that was the most powerful tractor you could buy in 1967.
Really?
Yeah, it's just a small looking tractor nowadays, but that was the biggest thing you could buy.
They're still filing into the Highlands Parade ground here, so...
Is that Tony Marsh?
Tony Marsh on the Ellis Chalmers.
Hello, Tony.
WD-45, a tractor ahead of its time. Tony Marsh, better known for making motor cars go very fast.
Well,
yes, yeah.
It's good to see him on a tractor.
One of New Zealand's finest engine builders.
Yeah.
Minneapolis,
yeah.
Minneapolis Moline.
Moline.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Minneapolis Moline.
American, obviously.
American tractor, as is Oliver.
What have we got here in the kind of
Coming in, I suppose.
patina spec?
So down the inside is a Lloyd, and it's got a Ford V8 in it, and it was made after the war in England, where they're very short of tractors, and it's sort of half tank, half tractor.
And what about here?
Well, that is a Fordson Major coming down there with a very rudimentary roll bar. You see, all these early tractors, they didn't have rollover protection, and then the farmers started to make their own, and that's a pretty good example of an early rollover protection. Of course, all tractors have ROP safety cabs nowadays. A big Ford County Super 4, yeah.
What was the go with the
to break in the hill country, yeah. To give you a traction. It took a whole paddock to turn around, of course, but terrible steering lock.
Oh, God.
And here's Barry on the Normag, the most ugly tractor in the tractor collection. This is an extremely ugly tractor, but Barry loves it, and he always picks it out to drive. And the first of the Bulldogs coming down the front straight. These are the single-cylinder Bulldog tractors.
What age?
Made in Germany, Lance Bulldog. Lance is German for tractor. And then about 1936, 1937, that little Lance Bulldog. 39. There you go.
What is the engine in that?
The single-cylinder semi-diesel.
Singles?
Started with you have to warm them up with a diesel hot torch to make them go, so there's a bit of mucking about. And we're still seeing some very interesting tractors come in. And they'll go out the middle gate, Jono.
Your team naturally are getting things ready for the next display as well. Veteran, vintage and post-vintage cars up to 1950. They'll be out very shortly, won't they?
They'll be out shortly. We'll get the tractors back in. What other interesting tractors have we got? We've got a Turner diesel coming into the front straight, which is the green and yellow tractor, another English tractor. Probably another failure. Remember, there were 200 tractor manufacturers at one stage, and that's been whittled down to about 5 or 6 in the world today. But all sorts of companies experimenting with tractors, and the Yeoman of England, the Turner diesel was one, but not a very successful tractor, one might say. But here all the same. And following the Turner is Ian Begg he's in the Guinness Book of Records for the Around the World tractor trip that he's done with his little Ford tractor and his caravan, and that's all the places he's been on the side of it. All the way up to John O'Groats in Scotland, and all the way back at 19 kilometres an hour. Yeah, so it's great to have that tractor in the tractor museum.
Plenty of time to see the scenery then, all the way through.
Now, some tractors are kept in their what they call their working clothes, and the best example here today is Ben Lewis coming onto the front straight now. Ben Lewis from Canterbury, and he's driving a very interesting tractor, which is one of the first diesel tractors in New Zealand, and it's the Gaunt Deering WD-40. And that is a completely original tractor, right down to the liking on the back mudguards and the bonnet, unrestored, and it's lovely to see some original tractors as well.
Where was that sitting? Where was it found?
Well, it looks like under a tree.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, it's a beautiful piece.
Incredible.
Unrestored tractor.
Which part of New Zealand was that in?
Canterbury.
Oh, it was Canterbury. Yeah.
Now, one of the biggest tractors you could buy, and leading the tractor race in the mid-1960s was the Alice Chalmers D21. We'll take that in the tractor pool later. It's a fantastic high horsepower tractor, all of 123 horsepower, but that was the big power race between Alice, John Deere, and International Harvester in the 60s, as tractors got more powerful and more powerful, and that is the first turbocharged tractor. Another first was the Case 1200. And it's Ron Muir who looks after the tractor collection driving that. And you can see how tractors changed when they started to equalise their wheels and move to four-wheel drive. This one doesn't pivot steer in the middle, it four-wheel steers or crab steers. But a very good example of a Case 1200, big tractor in the day, biggest you could get in the late 60s.
What were they using it for?
Breaking in farms, ploughing. A lot went to Southland. They loved them down there. Breaking in the big stations.
Welcome.
Breaking in the tussock ground.
Wow.
What about up the back here, Alan? This with the cab, just over the back here, the grey.
Yeah, another little cab tractor. It's a Southland built cab, that one. Keep you out of the rain. Right on the front straight now on the inside, we've got an Alice Chalmers HD5. And that's another Southland tractor, driven by the original owner that's come back to drive his tractor very proudly here at Wheels at Wanaka. And it's great to see some of the original families back driving their original tractors. Now the tractor's starting to head out of the ring now, and I think what a marvellous display of vintage tractors.
Beautiful. Where can people go there? We can see them parking up over the back here, can't we? So people are welcome to go and have a closer look at them. And how many of them have we got here, do you know, roughly?
Well, I don't know. It would be interesting to count them, but you'd be talking 400 or 500 vintage tractors out there.
Fantastic.
David Brown 50D coming down the front straight now. Very collectible tractor today, particularly a lot going back to England. They're an export tractor that came to New Zealand and Australia, but not many made, so a lot going back to England. A very sought-after tractor in England. And we didn't mention what's going out of the ring at the moment, which is sort of a tractor, which is a hay baler. A New Holland hay baler, very rare in the world today. That's John Patterson driving it. Again, he's come back to drive something that his father had and was a contractor with that hay baler and has done many, many bales. He told me how many bales he'd done with that. So it's lovely having him back here. So thank you to all the tractor drivers. We'll get you out of the ring and we'll get something completely different.
Because we have such an amazing array of tractors here, I don't think we've been able to get through completely all of them. Some are queued up there, Alan. We're going to get them in to do one quick lap, aren't we? So just to
so we haven't had all the tractors. Oh, hell, we've got a whole lot back there. Okay, we'll let them in. So we'll squeeze them in now, squeeze them in a gap, bring the rest of the tractors in. So we can run slightly behind because we'll make it up later on. I'm sure we will, Greg.
Of course. Just
nice.
a reminder too, as some of the tractors leave the Highlands Parade Ground here, and we get ready for the next group that we would like to showcase for you into the arena here. For the young ones, for the kids, we do have a very special poster that we want them to get. You need to go around the venue and collect some stickers. So it's kind of like a treasure hunt in some respects. So it's the Wheels at Wanaka Kids Passport 2023. I think it's brought to us by Fulton Hogan. So what we need you to do is go and see one of our great team here from Wheels at Wanaka. Grab one of those